welcome to the North title match here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's 56 degrees outside, overcast. The crowd is packed. Margays versus Empire. Let's break this game down a little bit before we get started here. The Margays 10-1, second best record in the league, second ranked. Their Narrow Streets has had a spectacular season this year. Some say he's playing better than Pascal, the lead thrower of this team. Narrow Streets, he's a great dasher. He's made the All-Star team, and he's made the North team, as well as Pascal for being the top thrower in the North. And then you have the Empire, who they're very talented but very disorganized, and they somehow surged miraculously in the final week of the season, edging out the Dizzy Devils for a spot to play the Margays. Now, the Margays, their closest division game was against the Empire in week 5, where they had a 5-4 matchup. It was very close, and they haven't really been close to anybody since. So the Empire, with this newfound confidence, they're hoping to really shake things up here. And before we begin the game, we would like to honor the North Division champ, the North team, that will be playing as a team in Seattle for the All-Star game. As the captain, you have Paulo of the Sea Dogs. First arm, Pascal of the Margays. Second arm, Tamp of the Sea Dogs. The defender, McFadden of the Dizzy Devils. And the dasher, Narrow Streets of the Margays. Now let's begin this, folks. We have Streets going to be going against Trenton to start things off. Now look for Narrow Streets to have a great game. Empire are not going to be going for them. They're going to be hitting at Pascal, Samir, and Raj Timor. He could have a big game too. On the Empire side, they're pretty much going to be God. I mean, if Brass can have he's a nice all-arounder. He's not going for him. Parker, he's an all-arounder. But, Richard and Thompson, pretty much the go-guys for this team, are going to be just getting roasted by the Margays. So let's see what happens here. Margays win the start. Pascal gets Thompson out. Richard gets Pascal out. It's even. Brass catches Narrow Streets. Samir dodges Richard. And Timor dodged by Richard. Richard going off gets Samir out. And Richard outed by Raj Timor, the rookie. Parker gets Timor out. And Irwin caught by Parker, and the Empire have started things off, taking the first set. And Pascal's got to be a little more influential there. They thought they got Trenton out and Thompson out to begin things, but Richard, he's playing really well right now. Empire win the start. Oh, but Pascal catches Thompson. But Pascal caught by Richard. Pascal has not been playing well the past few weeks. Trenton dodged by Samir. Narrow Streets throws out Richard, though. It's even. And Parker gets Streets out. Still even. Parker catches Samir. And Parker caught by Irwin. And Timor caught by Brass. A bunch of catches. And Brass gets Irwin out. Folks, the Margays down 2-0. And Streets gets the start. Pascal caught by Thompson. Thompson gets Samir out. What is happening? Thompson catches Narrow Streets. Thompson gets Irwin out. Timor, the last man left, gets Thompson out. Timor gets Brass, catches him. Timor gets Richard out. And Timor outed by Parker. The Empire lead 3-0. This is the playoffs. This 10-1 record means nothing. The Margays are reeling. Pascal's been playing terrible. Streets hasn't been a factor yet. Oh my goodness. Margays win the set 4 start. It's do or die for them. But Thompson catches a weak throw from Pascal. Thompson gets Samir out. And Streets gets Thompson out. Timor catches Parker. They're getting something back now. Timor gets Richard out. Timor dodges Brass. Timor gets Brass out. And Irwin catches Trenton. The Margays finally looking in form without Pascal, though. You've got to remember that. Margays win the start again. Pascal, another bad throw. Thompson catches. Richard gets Samir out. Streets gets Thompson out, though. That's big. Irwin outed by Richard. Thompson gets Trenton out. And it's going to be all on narrow streets as Richard gets Timor, the rookie, out. Streets gets Richard out. Streets outed by Parker. The Empire are up 4-1, folks. This is the playoffs. All of these teams can do anything they want, anytime. This is crazy. Margays win the set 6 start. Pascal, he must have something wrong with his arm or something. This is going to go down in infamy. Goodness gracious. Another terrible throw from Pascal. Thompson catches. Thompson gets Samir out. Streets gets Thompson out. Irwin catches Trenton. But Streets, a bad throw to Parker. Richard dodges. Irwin dodges. Richard dodges narrow streets. Richard gets Irwin out. Streets gets Richard out. Streets catches Parker. And Streets gets Brass out. See, 2-4. Empire knocking on the door. Streets is just hoping to will everything right now. Pascal is down for the count. Nobody knows what's going on with him. Margays win the set start. Samir, they're not even going to Pascal to begin the set. Samir throws Brass out. Pascal dodges Trenton. Pascal finally gets a good throw, gets Trenton out. Richard gets Pascal. And Streets gets Trenton out. Samir catches Parker. And Streets gets Richard out. The Margays making a flying attempt at a comeback. It's 3-4. Wow. And the Margays win the start. And Pascal, good throw to Thompson. Richard gets Pascal out. And Streets gets Richard out. Parker gets Timor. Parker catches Streets. But Samir dodges Parker. Parker dodges. Parker gets Irwin out. It's all on Samir. Samir gets Parker out. Samir dodges Brass. Samir, it's all on Trenton. Trenton dodged by Samir. Trenton catches Samir. Oh my goodness. Trenton catches Samir. And the Empire with a huge upset of the Margays. Are you kidding me, folks? Look at the numbers. Look at the Pascal in a playoff game had the 4th best index of his team, 37.6. Narrow Streets did all he could. 65 index, 11 throw outs, and 1 catch. Raj Timor, he's just a rookie, but he tried. But the Empire, they didn't play that well. It's just that they kept getting Pascal, I mean, he was starting with the throw. He was just throwing terribly. He was just throwing bad. Thompson, solid game. Richard, solid game. Parker, solid game. The Empire, they played well. But they just shouldn't have been in those positions. Pascal, he's good for 2 outs a set. That's what he's supposed to be for. And they just couldn't get it. They couldn't get him together. The Margays can't win without Pascal. You know, you have these teams that have just one player that does everything. The Margays are just a little removed from that. And in the playoffs, you get found out. Empire, they have 3 players that can make plays. Margays only have 2. Forget the records, forget the season. This is the playoffs. And the Empire have just won the North. Unbelievable. 10 wins in a season. To just lose the first game in the playoffs. Unreal, folks. Unreal. The Empire are your North champions. Wow, this has been a Dodgeball production. Stay tuned for more division round madness.